We've heard from the workers. Let's get a clearer perspective on the federal government's policies for Nigerian workers. Joining us now on the News at 10 is the Minister for Labour and Productivity, Dr. Chris Ngige. He joins us from our studios in Abuja. Dr. Ngige, thank you for joining us on the News at 10. And happy Workers' Day, Minister.
Thank you. Thank you, Marachi.
Now, this administration has been criticized for failing on its promises to improve workers' welfare, considering the number of strikes recorded over the last 7 months in oil and gas sector, health and aviation. What significant change has been introduced?
No. I will not agree with you that there is a failure on the part of government. What has happened is that the strikes you're talking about are local actions. They are local strikes. Like you have in the teaching hospital, they will say there's no gas in the theater, or there's no water or detergents around the theater, and things like that. And the doctors could go on strike there. Or the NNPC, where you have the Nupeng and Pengasin. Local chapters going on strike over the minister's statement, oh, we are going to do unbundling. And some people got scared that there might be job losses and went on strike. Those local strikes actually are not supposed to happen because there is a methodology, there is a sequence for any worker to go on strike. The sit-down strikes, you come to your office and you stay, you are not working. There is picketing and things like that. So there's no failure at all. Prior to now, we had, even as a government, proactively engaged the employers and the workers through their unions. Starting with the oil sector first. We held meetings with the IOCs, that's International Oil Corporations, Chevron, Ajip, Shell, and the rest of them all. And we said the economy is not doing too good because oil, the black gold, is no longer gold anymore. So retain the jobs. Why not expanding? Don't lay off people. And cooperating, I can tell you. Not maximally as one would expect, but the job losses they embarked on were stopped. So government is doing dialogue. And dialogue is the answer, because that's one of the tools with which we work in labor. We are now going to the banks. We are talking to the banks. And now we're going to bring the bank employers and their union. The union is Nubif or whatever. We engage them, no job losses. Keep whatever you have. The downturn will not continue forever. Even if the downturn is on, you can go up to the upper echelon and see what you can take off from the allowances that are there. Some top management in the banks and even in the oil sector, they give them drivers, 4 drivers to 1 person. And we're saying, you can have a second look at this now. Things are not well, get them 2 drivers. Use the other revenue and funds you get from there and go down and touch the people down the line. Don't retrench them. These are the vulnerable groups in society. So you keep them. So we are doing what we are supposed to do. But more importantly, much more importantly, the government is going to put back the National Labour Council. When I came as minister, I discovered that the National Labour Council does not exist anymore, or for years. But that's a very veritable tool with which we can gather everybody. Just like if you go to health, you have National Council on Health, where everybody is a participant, people from the states, the unions, the employers, and you discuss issues, problems that are emergent there, and you solve them once and for all there. If you go to information, there's National Council on Information. Same. The unions, the Ratau, and the rest of them will come there with their employers and talk over labor matters. So we are going to resuscitate the Nigerian National Labour Council. It's a tool which even the ILO recommended for everybody, every country, and we're going to bring it back. This is what we think will give us the significant change we need here.
Dr. Ngige, workers this year are demanding an increase in the minimum wage. How is government going to address this or cope with it?
Well, it will surprise you to hear that even before they made this demand, being a government of change, a government that is forward-looking, a government that cares for her people, the president, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, had asked me as minister to have this at the back of my mind. And I went into the laws and saw that just like the workers were saying, that the minimum wage act will expire on March 24. So we are already putting on our thinking cap on what's going to be done before their letter came. And now that their letter came, we just saw the letter, I think, over the weekend. And we are going to do the necessary things that were needed to do, the needful. We're going to do the needful. And I'm happy that they even said in their letter, they realized that it was a tripartite discussion, what we call tripartite negotiation, involving the states, where you have state government and the local government on one side. Then you have employers of labor, organized private sector, and then the government, federal government. Even at that, with the federal government, I'm going to be a conciliator. I'm going to be the main conciliator. I'm going to be neutral. I'm not supposed to take any side. So the organized private sector with NECA on one side, then you have the states, local government and federal government on one side, and then you have the unions represented by NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, and the TUC. And then we will review. That's what the law says. You review. The review will bring in holistically all factors that are prevailing now. All variables will be put on the table and looked at. And to tell you one thing, a review does not mean, it does not mean you must go 100%. It doesn't also mean you will not increase. It could also mean that you look at all the parameters and say, let the status quo ante remain. But I'm not going to talk about that now because, like I told you, I'm going to be the chief conciliator. I'll be neutral, and I will advise both parts on what, or both parties on what is going to be
Dr. Ngige, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Oblivious of these factors.
Thank you for joining us again, Minister, on the News at 10, Minister of Labour and Productivity, Dr. Chris Ngige, joining us from our studios in Abuja. When the News at 10 returns, Islamic group JNI describes as absurd allegations that herdsmen are responsible for the killings in Benue and Enugu states. Please join us again.